Welcome to the abyss of crime, where shadows whisper secrets, and the truth is often stranger than fiction. From chilling unsolved crimes to controversial trials, we explore the darker side of humanity through meticulous investigation and compelling storytelling. In today's episode of Abyss of Crime, we delve deep into another chilling crime saga that will keep you on the edge of your seat. This story begins back in 2012 during the Summer Olympics in London, where a young Puerto Rican boxer named Felix Verdejo Sanchez emerged, full of hope and promise. He was seen as one of his country's most promising athletes, with many believing he would achieve great success and bring home numerous titles and gold medals. At that time, it seemed that this exceptionally talented and driven young man was on a path to greatness in the world of sports. Fast forward to 2021, and Felix's name resurfaced in the headlines, but this time under a dark cloud. His journey had taken a tragic turn, moving from the sports section to the crime pages. Today, we'll delve into a story of a teenage obsession that spiraled into a devastating catastrophe, leading Felix to face the possibility of the death penalty before ultimately being sentenced to life imprisonment. Despite overwhelming evidence and a confession from his accomplice, Felix continues to maintain his innocence. Felix Verdejo was born on May 1993 in the Puerto Rican city of San Juan. Growing up in a modest, large family, he found solace and purpose in sports. Initially, he dreamed of a career in baseball. However, fate intervened when an incident at the age of 9 altered the course of his life. A family friend visited with his son of the same age, and the boys ended up in a scuffle in the yard. Separated by their parents, Felix's father suggested that if he ever wanted to fight in the future, he should wear boxing gloves. From this pivotal moment, Felix was taken to a local gym, and according to him, it was love at first sight. By age 16, he had clinched the Pan American Junior Championships. A year later, he secured his nation's championship and made his way to the 2012 London Olympics, where he advanced to the quarterfinals. His professional career began the same year, with 29 fights and 27 wins. Known for delivering a memorable knockout in a 2014 bout against Sergio Villanueva, Felix's star seemed to be rising. By the next year, he had claimed his first championship belt, the WBO Latino title, which he defended 6 times. Now let's shift our focus to Keishla Rodriguez. Born in November 1993, also in San Juan, Keishla Marlene Rodriguez Ortiz was the daughter of Jose and Kayla Rodriguez. She had a sister, Bereliz Nicole, and her mother also had an older son named Jonathan from a previous marriage. Keishla was known for her open, sociable nature, excelling in school and harboring dreams of becoming a veterinarian. Her sister Bereliz was her confidant, with whom she shared all her secrets and worries. Keishla and Felix attended the same school and had known each other since childhood. Their relationship evolved from friendship to romance during their teenage years. However, in 2011, Keishla's parents divorced, and while Keishla moved to Florida with relatives, her daughters chose to stay in San Juan. Despite living separate lives, the sisters remained closely connected. When Felix was 18, fresh from his Olympic stint, he began dating Elisa Maria Santiago Sierra. Elisa, then 14 and still in school, dreamed of a future with the promising athlete. Her parents approved of the relationship, anticipating a bright future for the young couple. As Felix's fame grew, so did the attention from female fans. Despite his serious relationship with Elisa, he couldn't resist other entanglements, including continuing his relationship with Keishla. Both Bereliz and her mother disapproved of Felix's dual affairs, but felt helpless to intervene. Caught in a complex situation, Elisa considered herself Felix's one true love and envisioned a shared future filled with success and happiness. Conversely, Keishla, aware of Elisa's existence, couldn't detach herself from Felix, especially since he was her first major love. In 2016, Felix married Elisa, who was nearly 19. By then, Elisa had established herself as a successful model with a significant following on social media and had opened her own beauty studio. But just a few months into their marriage, Felix had a severe motorcycle accident, suffering head injuries and lacerations. His trainer, Ricky Marquez, feared for his boxing career, but Felix defied the odds, making a miraculous recovery and returning to the ring shortly after. In September 2019, Felix made headlines again, but this time, it wasn't for his accomplishments in the ring. On social media, he posted a picture alongside Elisa, who was visibly pregnant, with the caption, "Soon I will meet my daddy's princess." A month later, they welcomed a daughter named Miranda Verdejo Santiago. To the public eye, Felix seemed like a devoted husband and father. But behind closed doors, he couldn't sever ties with Keishla Rodriguez. Elisa suspected his infidelity but fell for his tearful promises to end the affair. Despite repeated breakup attempts by Keishla, Felix's manipulation and threats kept her bound to him. He even threatened harm if she ever took interest in another man. Keishla, who had loved Felix since their school days, couldn't let go of her first love. Keishla pursued her passion for animals and secured a job at a veterinary medicine and aesthetics center. Her colleagues described her as diligent, dedicated, and caring. She lived with 2 dogs and a cat, pets she adored. Despite her professional success, her personal life was mired in the complications of her continued association with Felix. In 2020, Elisa discovered multiple exchanges her husband had with various women, including Keishla. This led to a major argument, and Elisa threw Felix out, threatening divorce and denying him access to their daughter. Felix, already grappling with a downturn in his boxing career, couldn't afford any additional complications and temporarily halted his interactions with Keishla. Still, he persistently attempted to control her life. Secret meetings between Felix and Keishla resumed after a few months. In April 2021, Keishla discovered she was pregnant and confirmed it with a rapid test. Initially, she confided in her sister, who was aware of her tumultuous relationship with Felix. At 27, Keishla was prepared to have the baby, even if it meant raising the child alone. When she informed Felix of her pregnancy, he reacted with anger, demanding she terminate the pregnancy to preserve his reputation. After a hospital visit confirmed her pregnancy, Keishla obtained a medical certificate, which further enraged Felix. He continued to insist on an abortion, but Keishla stood firm in her refusal. Sensing Felix's escalating threats, Keishla hoped showing him the certificate in person might change his mind. Felix arranged a meeting with Keishla at a public location on April 29th, under the pretense of verifying her pregnancy. Days before the meeting, Felix approached his old friend Luis Antonio Cadiz, who worked at a local machine shop and had connections in the criminal underworld. Felix outlined his plan and sought Luis's help in eliminating the pregnant Keishla. Initially hesitant due to his past run-ins with the law, Luis was swayed by Felix's promises of a smooth operation and a hefty cash reward. On the evening of April 29th, Keishla, carrying her medical certificate, drove her Kia Forte to meet Felix, who arrived in his pickup truck with Luis hidden in the back. Felix and Keishla met, and once again, Felix pressed her to have an abortion. As emotions flared, Felix struck Keishla's head with his fist, knocking her unconscious. Seizing the opportunity, Felix retrieved a syringe filled with a large dose of illicit substances, prepared earlier by Luis. He administered the injection to Keishla and, with Luis's assistance, moved her limp body to the back of the pickup. There, they secured her with pieces of wire and tied a concrete block to her before covering her with a tarp. Felix and Luis then drove to the San Jose Lagoon, with Felix taking the pickup and Luis following in Keishla's car. Their destination was a bridge over the lagoon, a remote location fit for their horrifying plan. The events that unfolded next were nothing short of a nightmare. As they neared the bridge, Felix stopped the vehicle and, together with Luis, dragged Keishla's motionless body out. They maneuvered her to the edge of the bridge, her body weighed down by the concrete block. With one final push, they sent her into the depths of the lagoon, hoping the currents would keep their crime hidden. To seal her fate, they fired several shots from their firearms, ensuring no chance of survival. Satisfied with their grisly work, the men returned home to maintain a facade of normalcy. The next morning, Keishla's co-workers grew concerned when she did not report to work at the Veterinary Medicine and Aesthetics Center. Known for her reliability, her unexplained absence set off alarms. Unable to reach her by phone, they contacted her sister, Beraliz. With no luck reaching Keishla, Beraliz went to her home. Using a spare key, she entered only to find their pets unfed and forlorn from being unattended for nearly 24 hours. Beraliz was immediately gripped by fear, sensing something dire had happened. She swiftly informed her mother and reported her sister's disappearance to the police, including Felix's threats. When contacted, Felix claimed he had spent the evening and night at home with his family, dismissing any involvement in Keishla's disappearance. Keishla's mother flew in from Florida, hoping against hope that her daughter might be safe at a private clinic under Felix's influence. Clinging to the belief Keishla was still alive, she couldn't bear considering the alternative. The police began by interviewing neighbors and colleagues, but none could provide useful information. Concurrently, social media mobilized with messages about Keishla's disappearance, urging anyone with information to come forward. As the case garnered widespread attention, the media honed in on the fact that Keishla was expecting a child with a renowned athlete, drawing even more public scrutiny. On April 30th, Keishla's Kia Forte was discovered abandoned on the city's east side. Inside were her personal belongings and documents, but no evident signs of struggle, offering a sliver of hope that she might be found alive. This hope was shattered on May the 1st, when a passerby on a bridge over the lagoon spotted a body in the shallow water. Police retrieved the body, which turned out to be Keishla, identified swiftly by a distinctive tattoo on her arm, despite the body's condition following days in the water. News of Keishla's grim fate quickly spread, inciting public outcry and demands for justice. On the same day, Felix was detained for questioning. He steadfastly denied any involvement, sticking to his alibi of being home with his family. With no immediate charges, Felix was released. His wife, Elisa, during her initial interrogation admitted knowing of Felix's affair, but feigned ignorance of Keishla's pregnancy. Crucially, she did not back Felix's alibi, confirming he was not home the night Keishla vanished. Investigators reviewed traffic camera footage from the route leading to the bridge, capturing Felix's pickup and Keishla's Kia following closely. Keishla's car was clearly not driven by her. Further, forensic examination of Felix's pickup uncovered strands of Keishla's hair. Luis, facing mounting pressure, opted to cooperate with authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence, detailing their crimes and confirming Felix's leading role. Despite this, Felix remained uncooperative, continuing to deny his guilt. Yet, the recovered firearm used to shoot Keishla matched one registered to Felix, further incriminating him. Cell phone records placed Felix, Luis, and Keishla at the same location on that fateful night, further cementing the case against him. On May 8th, Keishla's funeral was a national event, spotlighting the issue of gender violence and calling for severe punishment for her killers. The ceremony was marked by a white carriage carrying her coffin, showered by white flower petals from above. The public solidarity was palpable, as notable figures from various sectors voiced their sorrow and condemnation. Felix faced charges of carjacking, kidnapping, premeditated murder, and the murder of an unborn child, all carrying the death penalty. However, Keishla's family advocated for a life sentence, wishing for Felix to endure prolonged suffering. Due to the global pandemic, court proceedings were delayed, but resumed virtually in early 2021. The trial revealed the crime's abhorrent details, primarily through Luis's confession. He admitted to procuring the drugs and transporting the wire and concrete block, all at Felix's behest. Felix's persistent denial was counterproductive against mounting evidence. Felix's wife Elisa, who served as a key witness, filed for divorce soon after his arrest, distancing herself and focusing on her business and daughter. Despite anonymous threats and public scrutiny, Elisa rebuilt her life, eventually remarrying. In the summer of 2023, the jury, having assimilated all the evidence and witness testimonies, found Felix Verdejo and his accomplice, Luis Cadiz, guilty on all counts. This verdict, announced after meticulous deliberation, closed a significant chapter in a tragic case that had captivated and horrified the public. Despite the clear verdict, the sentencing was still pending and scheduled for mid-November 2023. The anticipation was that both men would receive life sentences, ensuring they would never leave prison. The impending sentencing marked a small measure of justice for Keishla Rodriguez and her unborn child. Her family, while finding some solace in the guilty verdict, continued to grapple with their immense grief. They had lost a loving daughter and sister to an act of egregious betrayal and violence. In the aftermath, Felix, once celebrated as a promising star in boxing, became a pariah. His image, carefully cultivated through years of rigorous training and public appearances, was irreparably tarnished. The boxing community, initially stunned, publicly condemned his actions, emphasizing the importance of character and integrity over skill and fame. As the truth of Felix's double life became more known, the repercussions extended beyond his immediate circle. Sponsors, fans, and colleagues distanced themselves, and his achievements in the ring were overshadowed by his monstrous act. Elisa Santiago, while attempting to rebuild her life, faced many challenges. Despite remarrying and focusing on her business, the residual effects of the scandal haunted her. She received numerous threats and accusations, with some wrongly blaming her for the crime. Nonetheless, she remained resilient, focusing on raising her daughter Miranda and shielding her from the public controversy. As the sentencing date approached, the court prepared for what promised to be an emotionally charged session. The Rodriguez family, legal teams, media, and activists awaited the final chapter of the legal process. On the day of the sentencing, the courtroom was filled to capacity. Emotions ran high as the judge delivered the final sentences. Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for both Felix Verdejo and Luis Cadiz. The courtroom and community beyond erupted in a mix of relief, sadness, and a sense that justice, in its limited capacity, had been served. Felix's life behind bars began under the shadow of his actions. Rejected by former supporters, grappling with the consequences of his crime. Luis, too, faced a long future in prison, his cooperation earning him no significant leniency. Keishla's family continued their advocacy, transforming their pain into a force for change. Through their efforts, they hoped to build a legacy that would protect others and ensure their loved ones' lives were not lost in vain. In conclusion, this harrowing story underscores the destructive potential of unchecked ambition, manipulation, and violence. Once destined for greatness in the boxing world, Felix Verdejo's fall from grace serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of ethical conduct and the devastating consequences that can arise when moral lines are crossed. As we delve into the dark complexities of this case, we must ask, how can society better protect individuals from such violent outcomes? What measures can be implemented to prevent similar tragedies in the future? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the shadows of the abyss of crime. As we conclude our exploration of the Felix Verdejo case, we hope it has illuminated the deeper issues that lurk beneath the surface of society. If this series has captured your interest, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the darkest corners of criminal investigations. Please click the bell icon to ensure you don't miss any updates. Your engagement helps us bring these important stories to light. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep seeking the truth. Goodbye for now.